Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive.
The show where we explore the sources behind key ideas.
And you're listening to the Continuous Improvement Lab. This is Season 2, Episode 14.
We really appreciate you tuning in. A big thank you, actually, to our listeners in, 17 countries?
Yeah, 17 countries. It's fantastic to have you all with us. Today, we're getting into Management Operations Systems, MOS. For sure.
Right. And the real focus here isn't just, having an MOS.
No, it's about making sure that system is actually tangibly improving your team's performance, driving real results you can measure.
Exactly. We've looked at some interesting research and a pretty detailed case study that really tackle this exact point.
So our mission for this deep dive, let's unpack these sources.
Yeah, pull out the key insights, look at the examples.
And really understand what it takes to make an MOS less of a checklist and more of an engine for, well, actual improvement.
Translating that process into real performance gains.
Okay, so let's jump in. The first thing that really jumps out from the sources is this idea.
Yeah.
An MOS, it can't just sit there.
Mm-hmm. It has to be dynamic.
Right. If it's not actively helping you improve things, you can measure efficiency, quality, safety, whatever it is for you, then, well.
Then it's kind of just going through the motions, potentially becoming, bureaucratic overhead.
It has to be a driver, not just documentation.
Absolutely. And the research points out this common trap. Organizations put the pieces in place, the daily meetings, the boards, the standard work.
All the familiar elements.
Yeah, but the key performance indicators, the metrics, they don't budge. The process gets followed, sure.
Yeah.
But the whole point in continuous improvement just isn't happening.
It's like you're meticulously planning a route, but never actually moving forward on the map.
Exactly that. Tracking steps without getting closer.
That sounds, incredibly frustrating and probably very familiar to some listeners.
Probably.
So, okay, if you feel stuck in that routine, just doing the MOS tasks, how do you make that shift? How do you make it generate results?
Well, this is where the case study the sources examine is really helpful. It looks at a company called Vanguard Industrial Solutions.
Vanguard Industrial? Okay. What did it?
They're a manufacturer. They make parts for heavy construction equipment. And they'd had an MOS framework for like a couple of years.
But it wasn't working.
Pretty much. Leadership knew it. The teams on the floor knew it. It wasn't delivering. They had the routines, the meetings.
But the problems persisted.
Right. Still fighting quality defects, still missing production targets sometimes, still having safety issues. The system was there. It was followed.
But not solving things, not having an impact.
Precisely. It was a compliance issue versus an impact issue.
So what was the fix? How did Vanguard turn it around and make the MOS actually, impactful?
They realized it needed a fundamental rethink. Not ditching the MOS, but changing its focus.
Okay.
So instead of the daily things, the morning huddles, checking the KPIs being just about reporting status, they retrained everyone to connect those activities directly to the plant's biggest problems, the real performance blockers.
Wow. Okay, so give me an example.
Sure, like if equipment downtime was killing their efficiency, the morning huddle wasn't just machine X was down for Y hours.
Right.
It became the place to ask, okay, why was machine X down today? Identify that root cause and assign an action right then and there to fix it.
So turning status updates into immediate, targeted problem-solving sessions.
Exactly. Much more active. They also streamlined how problems got escalated. Supervisors got more power to flag issues quickly, even bypass layers if needed to get help faster.
Makes sense. Less getting stuck in the chain.
Yeah. And critically, senior leadership changed their reviews too. Monthly check-ins weren't just, did we do the MOS activities?
What were they then?
They were focused on, is the MOS helping us hit our big improvement goals? Making that direct link between the daily habits and the strategic results needed.
That clear connection, that line of sight from the daily stuff to the big picture seems absolutely vital.
It really was.
So what happened? What were the results after Vanguard made these shifts?
Well, the case study lays it out, and it's pretty impressive. Happened quite fast, too. Yeah.
Within just 3 months of this refocus, Vanguard saw equipment downtime drop by 18%.
18%? Wow.
Yeah. And first pass quality, getting it right the first time, improved by 14%.
Oh.
Overall production output went up 12%.
Those aren't small numbers, especially in manufacturing.
Not at all. These are significant shifts. And it wasn't just the metrics.
Oh. What else?
The sources mentioned a real change in how teams work day to day. Those meetings became genuinely focused on driving action.
Less reporting, more doing.
Exactly. which meant problems got solved faster and fewer issues kept cropping up again and again. The MOS went from being sort of passive, like looking in the rearview mirror, to being this active engine pushing improvements forward.
Sounds like it must have had a big impact on the culture, too.
Oh, absolutely. That was a major point in the sources. Employee engagement, accountability, they both went up noticeably.
Why do you think that was?
Because people could see the connection. They could see how their daily work using the MOS tools was actually fixing problems and making things better. They felt like they were making a difference.
Exactly. Operators, supervisors, managers, they felt more empowered, more capable. And leadership saw better alignment between what was happening on the floor and the company's main goals.
So by demanding actual results from the MOS,
they built a stronger culture focused on achieving those results.
That Vanguard example really drives home the point about purpose and application, not just having the structure. What about other areas? Does this idea hold up outside of manufacturing?
Yeah, the research definitely suggests it does. It's not just a factory floor thing.
Okay.
We're seeing this across warehousing, supply chain, engineering teams, service ops, even in, marketing departments. There's this growing expectation that an MOS has to deliver measurable value.
So it's not enough just to roll out the system anymore?
No. It needs to be a catalyst. It needs to demonstrably improve things.
Is there any broader data on that, like statistics across different functions?
Yeah, there are some compelling numbers. One study mentioned found that companies that really integrate their MOS to be results-focused see, on average, about a 22% improvement in overall operational efficiency.
22%?
Yeah.
Just from shifting that focus?
Yeah. And about a 19% increase in team engagement compared to companies where the MOS is more of a checklist.
That efficiency number is huge.
Yeah.
What about, say, engineering or supply chain? You mentioned those.
Right. Some analysis, I think it was Deloitte mentioned in the sources, showed engineering teams using this results-focused MOS approach cut project overruns by around 13%.
Okay.
And got things to market about 11% faster. In supply chain, companies using MOS to actively drive improvements in metrics like inventory accuracy or on-time delivery, they reported an 18% reduction in major operational hiccups.
So it really doesn't matter if you're building widgets or managing complex projects or supply lines.
The principle holds. It's about making the system work for the results.
And you mentioned services and marketing, too.
Yeah, analysis by McKinsey was cited. Teams in those areas applying MOS principles with a strong results focus, like cutting customer support resolution times or boosting marketing campaign ROI.
Right.
They saw roughly a 15% improvement in how fast they delivered projects, and also saw customer satisfaction scores go up.
So the core message seems pretty consistent across the board.
Very consistent. Your operational system, whatever you call it, needs to be tied to action and needs to demonstrably improve performance outcomes.
Leaders are really moving past MOS as just a set of routines.
Definitely. It needs to be a dynamic performance management framework, one that actively finds and fixes problems, eliminates waste, speeds up improvement.
So every meeting, every metric you review
should feed directly into that cycle. Find the issue, take action, make things better, whether that's optimizing a production line, refining a design process, or improving how you serve customers.
It truly boils down to that idea.
Yeah.
The MRS itself isn't the goal.
Exactly. The measurable improvements it enables, that's the goal. That's the core insight here.
Effective modern MOS implementations are really functioning as engines for delivering quantifiable results.
Yes, and organizations are baking the expectation into their culture, reinforcing that every part of the system has to contribute to moving the needle on key things like efficiency, safety, quality, speed, customer happiness, whatever matters most.
And by keeping that focus sharp on the tangible impact.
Companies like Vanguard and others across all sorts of industries are making sure their operational systems create real value instead of just becoming, another process to follow.
But it requires ongoing effort, right? It's not set and forget.
Oh, absolutely not. You have to keep reviewing the MOS itself, look at the performance data. Is the system still focused on the right things? Is it still effective?
That feedback loop is crucial.
Vital. Keeps the system sharp and ensures it stays focused on what really matters, making things measurably better.
Okay, so thinking about our listeners now, what does all this mean for you if you've got some kind of operational system or routines set up?
Yeah, ask yourself, can you confidently say they're driving real measurable improvements in the things that truly matter for your team, your goals?
Or has some of it maybe drifted, become something you follow just because it's the process, without that clear link back to impact?
Which leads to maybe a provocative question to reflect on. How are you actually measuring the success of your MOS or your operational routines right now?
Is it about activity? Did we have the meeting? Do we fill out the form?
Or is it about outcomes? Did we reduce defects? Did we improve response time? Are those measures directly tied to tangible performance improvements?
That's definitely a powerful question to take away and think about in your own context. If you do want more information on management operations systems or strategies for boosting team performance,
Please do check out our website. It's www.karasinnovations.com.
we also want to give a big thank you to our executive producer and founder, Lanier Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Lanier.
And most importantly, thank you for joining us on this deep dive, exploring how to make operational systems truly count.
If you found this discussion valuable, we'd love it if you'd subscribe or follow the Continuous Improvement Lab.
Yep, wherever you get your podcasts. That way, you won't miss our future deep dives into the source material that can help you stay informed and, hopefully, drive better performance.